Next, in this video, let's move on to the second part of the top 10 richest people in the world. 7. Sergey Bulin. Imagine what the world would be like without Google today. If you want to find out the background of a celebrity, you can only go to the library. If you want to quickly understand global news, you can only rely on TV or newspapers. But all this has changed completely because of a child from an immigrant family. His name is Sergey Bulin. Sergey Bulin is a joint founder of Google. He is a person who makes the world search more than 9 billion times a day. In 2025, his wealth reached $1,490 billion. From a poor Soviet immigrant to a technology giant who changed the world. His life is like a real-time Silicon Valley entrepreneurial legend. Sergey was born in 1973. At that time, although Sergey's parents were math geniuses, he was discriminated against because of Jewish blood. In 1979, the Bulin family finally got a visa to the United States. Sergey was only 6 years old at the time. When they first arrived in the United States, they lived in a small apartment. Life was not easy, but his parents still insisted on cultivating his math talent. Soon, he showed off his amazing talent. Sergey began programming at the age of 9. He can write code in basic language. At the age of 15, he entered a math elite school. His grades are very good. When he was in college, he jumped into Maryland University. He majored in math and computer science. But the one who really changed his life was a young man from Stanford University. At that time, Sergey Bulin was studying computer science. One day, he met a freshman from Michigan University. His name is Larry Peck. When they met, they started arguing about math. Their personalities are completely opposite. Sergey is lively and funny. He likes to challenge authority. Larry is calm and rational. He pursues the ultimate perfection. At first, they thought they would fail. But they succeeded. They saw more and more information on the internet. They decided to develop a new algorithm to provide accurate search services. In 1998, they gave their system a simple and loud name: Google. The word for Google is Google. It means 100 words. It symbolizes an infinite amount of information. It is the same as all entrepreneurial stories. At first, no one was optimistic about their search engine. They tried to sell Google. They even went to Yahoo to sell it. But the other party thought that searching was not the future of the internet. They were rejected directly. They decided to do it themselves. In 1998, they started their own business from the garage. They got the first investment of $100,000. They bought a bunch of second-hand servers. In 1999, Google began to gain attention. Red Mountain Capital and Kleiner Perkins, etc. The company officially took off with $25 million. In 2004, Google was listed on NASDAQ. Sergey and Lily instantly became a billionaire. However, Sergey's ambition was not limited to searching engines. In the late 2000s, he began to promote Google's entry-level artificial intelligence, unmanned driving, cloud computing, smartphones, etc. In 2006, Google acquired YouTube. It completely dominated the online video market. In 2015, Google was reorganized into Alphabet. Sergey was the president. He launched the new layout of artificial intelligence and automated driving. In 2018, he promoted the Google AI Lab. He studied quantum computing and machine learning. At the same time, his investment vision was very forward-looking. You see, he invested in the LTI Research Flight Project. Exploring green aviation has now become a pioneer in the industry. He also invested in SpaceX, promote private space travel, become a business partner with Musk. Therefore, Sergey's wealth depends on more than just Google. Every step of his investment is shaping his future. A tech giant once created the most important search engine in the world, led the Android system, acquired YouTube, he rarely even set up a flying car and space mining, and rarely appears in public. He is Larry Page, who we just talked about, the co-founder of Google, the behind-the-scenes controller of Alphabet's parent company. His net worth is as high as $1.75 billion. He wants to hide his shares, but he has created the technological pattern of this era. Larry Page was born in a computer scientist family. His father, Carl Page, was a computer science professor studying artificial intelligence. His mother, Gloria Page, is also a computer programming expert. So his childhood was not as addicted to cartoons and toys. Instead, he was immersed in the computer lab studying circuit boards, programming, and mathematical models. At the age of 6, he already had one of the world's first personal computers. At the age of 12, he read the biography of Nikola Tesla and began to dream of creating new technology to change the world. At the age of 14, he was very interested in future technology and set up a great technology company. He knew from an early age that the future belonged to those who dared to imagine and were willing to turn their ideas into reality. With this belief in mind, he enrolled at Michigan University and majored in computer science and began to study and search for hidden technology, until he met the same crazy young man, Sergey Brin. Everyone knows the story behind it. In 2019, Page officially took over as Alphabet's CEO and no longer participated in the company's daily management. Since then, he has almost disappeared from the public eye. He did not accept interviews, did not attend technology conferences, and did not show up at the company on a daily basis. He lives in a private island, far from the hustle and bustle of low-key investment and research projects. Despite his retirement, his wealth continues to grow. At the end of 2024, Alphabet's stock price soared. His net assets reached $750 billion, becoming the world's 6th largest rich man. Unlike some low-key rich men, most of Page's wealth did not grow rapidly through diversified investment like other bigwigs. It was only controlled by his Google and its ecosystem. Although he is more low-key than ever, he is still the most influential and hidden master of Alphabet. Perhaps, as Page himself said, if you didn't do something crazy, then you did it wrong. Number 5. Bernard Arnault Family. Bernard Arnault Family is the head of the world's largest luxury group, UVMH, with 75 top brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, Defoni, Chevrolet, and Tanpei Linong. Although the stock price of UVMH fell nearly 20% in the past year, its wealth shrunk to $420 billion, and even fell to the 5th place in the world for a short time. But its net assets still reached $1,680 billion. The luxury empire is still standing. Many people don't know that when Bernard was young, he didn't show his interest in fashion or luxury. He enrolled in the Paris Institute of Technology at the top engineering school in France. He only wanted to be an engineer. However, when he graduated and took over his father's construction company, he soon found that the construction industry was not his interest. What really attracted him was commercial, brand, luxury. So he began to wait for the opportunity to step into the luxury industry until 1984. At that time, the old French textile group Boussac Group was on the verge of bankruptcy. The assets of this group include the oldest department store company in France, Le Pen Marché, and a brand that has not yet fully recovered, Christian Dior. At that time, no one was optimistic about this losing company. However, Arnault showed the opportunity. In his opinion, the luxury industry is recovering, and Dior is one of the most powerful fashion brands in France. Instead of taking action, he immediately raised $15 million and boldly acquired Boussac Group and quickly sold all his unprofitable assets, leaving only Dior and Le Pen Marché to work hard to build a high-end brand. The fact is that he was right. Dior quickly recovered under his control, and he himself officially stepped into the throne of the luxury industry. In 1987, Arnault discovered a bigger opportunity, LVMH Group. LVMH is a luxury group combined by Louis Vuitton and Chevrolet. But at that time, the management chaos caused serious internal disputes, and the company fell to the bottom. Arnault decisively took action and gradually bought LVMH's shares, and eventually succeeded in controlling the board in 1989 to become the CEO of LVMH. From then on, LVMH entered the era of crazy expansion. Arnault often said that what we sell is not a product, but a dream. In 1988, he acquired Celine. In 1993, he acquired Givenchy. In 1996, he acquired Fendi. In 1999, he acquired Tanqueray Lino Champagne. In 2011, he acquired Bulgari. In 2021, he acquired Tiffany and set the record for the largest acquisition in the luxury industry. Now, LVMH has 75 luxury brands worth more than $400 billion and has become the world's most powerful luxury group. As a dream seller, he can hold the 5th place in the wealth ranking. 4. Mark Zuckerberg. If today's world didn't have Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp, what would be the difference in your life? The reason why the information sharing between people can become so convenient is all due to a young man who wrote code in a Harvard dormitory, Mark Zuckerberg. In 2025, his net worth will reach $21.7 billion, and his story is far more than a legend of a social network. Mark Zuckerberg was born in an ordinary middle-class family. He has shown his amazing programming talent since he was a child. At the age of 12, he developed a family communication software to communicate with his family through a computer. In high school, he developed a music-playing machine called C-Maps that can automatically analyze users' listening habits. At that time, Microsoft and Lowell wanted to acquire him, but were eventually rejected by Zuckerberg because he only wanted to do what he was really interested in. In 2003, he wrote a website called FaceMesh to allow students to comment on their classmates' photos. Although the website was closed due to privacy violations, this attempt made him realize that people want to build connections on the Internet. This is the future of the Internet. In February 2004, he wrote the first line of Facebook code, The Birth of a Social Empire. Zuckerberg's concept is very simple to make the world more open and more closely connected. In 2005, Facebook received an investment of $12.7 million from Hongshan Capital, and the number of users exceeded 5 million. In 2006, Facebook opened up to all users around the world and completely changed the social network pattern. In 2007, Microsoft invested $1.5 billion in Facebook, and Zuckerberg became the world's youngest billionaire. In 2012, Facebook's market share exceeded $1 trillion, and Zuckerberg became a super-rich man. However, he was not satisfied with this. He wanted Facebook to become the global social leader. In 2012, Zuckerberg acquired Instagram with $1 billion and shared the app with photos that he did not see. It eventually became the world's favorite social platform for young people. In 2014, he acquired WhatsApp with $1.9 billion and occupied the global instant communication market. In the same year, he acquired Oculus with $2 billion and entered the virtual reality field. Since then, Facebook has not only been a social website, but also a huge social empire. However, the world of social media is not always smooth. In 2021, he officially announced that the company was renamed to Meta, which aims to fully deploy virtual reality and enhance reality and artificial intelligence. However, the original universe did not explode as fast as he expected. Meta's market value fell by 70% in 2022. Many people laughed at him as the most failed technology gamble. Some even doubted whether Meta could still survive. But Zuckerberg never gives up easily. He adjusted his strategy and turned to artificial intelligence and short video competition. He finally made a big comeback in 2024. In 2024, Meta's artificial intelligence advertising business boomed and led the company's stock price to soar to $1.5 trillion. Zuckerberg's personal wealth grew by $7.8 billion. He not only saved Meta, but also made himself the top of the global wealth pyramid. Although his wealth grows rapidly, his influence is not limited to money.